There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of what's in my camera bag videos out there. But seriously, do they even use it all? If you've been watching my channel, you know that I just got back from a cruise. A cruise that left out of New Jersey where the forecast said it was supposed to snow, and sailed down to Florida and the Bahamas where it was to be a mix of windy and sunny. What the heck do you bring to capture those great memories on video? Before I left, actually, I filmed a video laying out everything I brought on the trip. But looking back on that video, I decided that it was crap! So, in this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I ended up using. And really, I wanna say, I didn't even use half of the stuff that I brought with me. So, setup number 1. The Insta360 One X on the Bushman Monopod. Don't forget the tripod legs and the counterweights. I won't get into too much detail about the Bushman Monopod. If you want to know more about it, check out the review I did, specifically about the Bushman Monopod. Seriously, best selfie stick / monopod of all time. But, a small tangent on 360 cameras. I still love my GoPros. They're just the right size to shove in a pocket, they can take a beating, and their super wide angle shot means you point it in the general area, and there's pretty much a good chance you'll get the shot you're looking for. But I remember when I first started using GoPro, back in 2013 when the Hero 3 Plus Black first came out. I put it on a selfie stick and I did what I just told you. Pointed it in the general direction and went about my business, only to look at the footage later on and see that I missed the shot entirely. And because of this, I would spend more time staring at the live stream on my phone, trying to get the right angle. So, cue the 360 camera. And now I can just use this to hold the camera up and truly be in the moment. And even be in the video. Why? Because 360 cameras see everything. But the reason I'm not stopping the video here and saying just get a 360 camera is because of the video quality. Although 360 cameras have come a long way, it's just not as good as a GoPro. Why? Well, this camera, the current best consumer 360 camera on the market today, has a 5.7K video resolution to cover the whole sphere. That's 5,700 pixels in the whole sphere. And this GoPro shoots in 4K in a little square. The most basic way I can explain it is, if I took the same picture out of a 360 camera shot, I would end up with a 1080p resolution shot, which is 1080 pixels in that square. So a big sphere and just a snippet of that sphere would be 1080p. Where GoPro, even back to the GoPro Hero 3, shoots in 4K or 4000 pixels in that little square. And also, I should mention that I think the colors GoPro captures are more true to what you see with your naked eye, whereas with the One X, it's a little flat. You can almost fix it in post-production, but that's only if you process your videos after you shoot. Also, with the 360 camera, you have to do a little work to reframe that shot to show you what you want. But that brings me to my main point with GoPro. Most people don't process their videos after they take them. Most people shoot their video, download it to a folder, and just watch the video as is. So, let's get back to the point of this video. Setup number 2, the GoPro Hero 7 Black on the Manfrotto Mini Pixie tabletop tripod on this Ulanzi adapter with the Movo VXR10 microphone. Don't forget the plug and the GoPro adapter that I can't find right now. Now, for the basic GoPro user, I think the audio quality out of the internal mic on the GoPro Hero 7 Black is good enough. But I knew I was going to be on a cruise where there's a lot of wind, so you need this fuzzy thing here called a dead cat that kind of muffles the sound of the wind. Otherwise, you hear a whole lot of wind on the GoPro and not enough talking. The best thing about this setup is not only can you use the tabletop tripod as a handy selfie stick, but it does double duty like a tripod, just like the name says. Also, it has a built-in ball head so you can move the camera any way you like. I'd also like to note that on this cruise, this was the first time I used this setup, and after a few days I figured out that I could get awesome sound and not have the dead cat in the picture if I offset the mic like this. Okay, so the last setup that I can't really show you is my Sony a6000 on the peak slide strap, used with the over-the-shoulder configuration. Because it keeps my camera out of the way, but is easy to deploy if I need it. Also, I'm a huge fan of peak anchors because of these little red tabs that can quickly attach or detach the strap from the camera. I can't really show you the Sony a6000 because I'm using it to video right now, so you'll just have to deal with my Nikon as an example. By the way, my lens of choice for the Sony a6000 is the Sigma 16mm f1.4, which, without getting too technical, allows more light to come in the camera, and in turn you get way better shots in low light than with your GoPro. I've been into photography since I was 12 or 13, where my first camera was this Nikon F3, a 35mm camera, like an old school camera that used actual film. There's just no substitution for composing photos with an actual camera. Also, as good as the GoPro and the 360 cameras are, even with changing the manual settings, there's just no better way to shoot videos in low light. Next, I want to throw an honorable mention out there for my actual tripod setup, which actually is just my own setup. This is the newer carbon fiber tabletop tripod. Attached to this Amazon Basics carbon fiber monopod. I know, who thought an Amazon's basic monopod would turn out to work so well? And here on the top is the ball head that came with the newer tabletop tripod. And because this whole setup is carbon fiber, it's super light, and it's super stable, and it's adjustable to just about any situation that I need. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is pretty stable, and a better alternative than carrying around an actual tripod. Of course, you've had the added bonus of actually having a monopod. So if I unscrewed this from the tabletop tripod, now I have a pretty easy monopod to use with my camera, which is my personal preference for getting out there and be able to maneuver easily around whatever area you're in. Man, monopods have changed these days. I remember having a monopod that was all metal and super long. You couldn't break it down to this small setup. You were stuck with this long pole and heavy and not really easy to move around with. But here I am, super simple setup. Lastly, power. On this trip, I carried with me two different power banks. This huge power bank that has a solar panel on it, which works, but don't be deceived. It's only one panel, so it charges very slowly. So don't be thinking that any solar charger works fast. If you want lots of power quickly, you'll need multiple solar power panels and clear skies. Man, I go on tangents a lot. Anyway, this thing can store 25,000 mAh. This can charge my iPhone XS Max almost 10 times. That's a lot. It has 3 USB ports that I use to keep my batteries charged using the external battery charger for the GoPro Hero 7 Black and the Sony a6000. The 1X charging battery cable doesn't really like charging off of external batteries. So I ended up just charging the battery in the camera directly using this. I also have this smaller USB power bank that has about 1000 mAh to attach to my GoPro on a tripod or clamp to get those long time-lapse videos. So anyway, yeah, I brought a lot more on this cruise. I had a lot of other lenses, some other cameras, a bag full of adapters, other GoPro mounts, and this gigantic bag. When really I only took 1 or 2 of these setups and put it in my little travel bag. So yeah, that's what I used. I hope you can learn from my experience. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.